Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Basking Broodscale on the draw for game one. Once again, trying out the lab build, seeing if this is viable. No green sources, but we could always go for Springleaf. If we find a green source, then we just win. Yeah, we'll keep. Start off with Saga, go to Flesh Rake, and hope we can go off from there. Let Strand Pass, draw, Null Drifter. So we can go Saga, Trigger, Pass. Fetch Flooded Strand. It's likely Control, Triome. Okay. Hopefully no Wrathmane. There's the Avamaya. So we go for Flesh Rake first? Yeah. Let's start with Flesh Rake, see if they counter. Pass in full. No counter. Discharge, so it is energy, so I'm expecting Wrathmane. 4 cards in hand. I might just try and bait them out with Flesh Rake again. Float. Blade. Attempt to resolve Flesh Rake. Yavimaya. Stirrings. No counters for any of that. That's weird. TKS. And pass. I mean, I'm tempted to just go forward with TKS first. Brain Surge. Okay. Draw 4, put 2 back. And pass. So we can TKS Broodscale. Okay, now we can't TKS and Broodscale. We can only TKS or Broodscale. We could just try and go for it, but I'm pretty convinced that they have a counterspell in hand. Draw. Another TKS. Ugin's Lab Imprint, Null Drift, and TKS number 1. ETB. Scouting Tarn Fetch. Another Galvanic Discharge, maybe? There's the discharge. Okay, you'll spend 4. Blade Trigger. Let's take a peek. Alright, I mean, that was their last out. And pass. Scouting Tarn. Draw. So I can cast Broodscale. I can equip Blade. Scouting Tarn Fetch. You draw into interaction. Solitude? Yeah, that'll do it. In that case, we could Cake Man for 0, but no real benefit of doing so, so we'll pass in full. Unfortunate is what that is. We'll pass. 3 in hand. 17, 18. And Kahira to hand. Play Steam Vents. Okay, so that shows us everything that they have then. We could just rip Kahira out. Let's do that. So I rip Kahira out of hand, leaving them with nothing but lands again. Oh, they played the Colonnade. I thought they played the Steam Vents. Yes. So it should be Kahira land. And then Unknown. Counterspell. We'll take the Counterspell. We'll pass. Next turn, we can just K command and dig. Always gonna have the answer. We've gone through 3 discharges, a solitude, and a path. Flooded Strand. Kahira. One Unknown in hand then. Could Null Drift draw 2, but K command seems to be the better option. Right, does Celestial Colonnade have flying? Yes, it does. We could go X equals 3 and dig. See if you find the Broodscale. It would be enough to win. Paying cost. Days Undoing. I feel like it's a bad idea. Right? Am I insane for thinking that was a bad idea? Draw? TKS? I mean, unless you have instant speed removal in hand, we have the Broodscale. Otherwise, I can TKS and Broodscale. I think I actually am going to start with Fleshraker. And then mana neutral. I think I just go for it, right? Always yield. Attempt to equip. Opponent concedes. That Days Undoing was a bold move, Cotton. And it did not pan out for you. So, control. Win for game 1. So, I suppose I'll bring a defense grid. With Days Undoing, I assume they're running Narset to ferry Big Tef. Fortunately, this does not hit Big Tef, but it does hit Small Tef Narset. Thought-Knot's decent here. We can trim on Ballista Fleshrake and a 7-mana value spell. You want to keep Devourer, so it's between Null Drifter, Sire, and Ugin. Null Drifter has its uses as divination. Sire can be hard to deal with, but not impossible. Ugin, if left uncontested, is pretty good. So cut a Sire. I think just keep it like that. Yeah, I think TKS is probably just as good, if not better than Thief. That way it just clears the way for what we're trying to cast. Here's the fence grid. It's turn 1, turn 2 TKS. We'll keep this. And draw. Cavernous Souls, even better. Fence grid. I mean, if this eats a counterspell, I'm happy. Steam Vent Shock. Consign. Consign. Okay. Pass. In that case, I might go Saga and wait for the Cavern. We'll go Yavimaya. Ancient Stirrings. I mean, there's another TKS, so I think we just go TKS beats. Scouting turn fetch. Surveil. Keeps it on top, we'll hold. Just on the off chance that it's something like a Harbinger. Draw. Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. TKS ETBs. Fetching. Do you have a Sink and a Stupor? Called Fountain Shock. Brain Surge. So they're going to tuck whatever the best card is on top, basically. Makes sense. For now we're at 4 up to 6. I think we go... Do we want to go Saga? Because if we go Saga, we play TKS, but then we're going to want to play the Devourer the turn after. So I think go Temple TKS and then Saga into the Devourer. That way the turn after we can start making constructs. Yeah, that makes no sense. TKS ETBs. Path Consign, Narset. I mean, they play the Narset, that's fine, so we eat the Path. And pass. The Consigns are not doing much right now. Terminus, yeah. I was wondering if that was going to be the case. TKS gets eaten. Hollowed Fountain Shock, Narset. E-Temp TKS. Oh, did they pick up Terminus? Oh, okay, that's what happened. Draw. So they picked up the Terminus, but they're not going to be able to cast that for a hot minute. 1, 2, 3. Narset, Terminus. Obviously, there's Jace. I think we do get rid of the Terminus or the Narset. That's kind of the question. I think I get rid of... I'll get rid of the Terminus. Play E-Temp and pass. This way we can hit Narset, get it off the board in case of a Days Undoing. Of course, that's exactly what they're going to hit. Maybe I should have played the Saga for that reason. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it may have been better to play the Saga. I have constructs available to me in case they Days Undoing. To be fair, this Devour also kind of feels a bit meh, just because, yeah, we can exile the Narset. Terminus, you found another one. Narset? You know 5, so there's one unknown. Okay, there's Narset. Narset digs. Finds the Days Undoing. Okay. Well, there's Meticulous Archive. Again, one unknown. Draw. Let's start by attacking Narset. See if this connects. Narset down. Urza Saga. Trigger. Could play the Blade, but I think playing the Devourer's better here. Pass. And pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scouting Tarn, fetch. Days Undoing. Terminus. I guess they had the Terminus in hand that entire time. You have to force them to do that rather than Days. Trigger. Yavimaya. Broodscale? Or not Broodscale, Blade. Pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can play the Ugin, though that isn't protected by the Cavernous Souls. Rat the Skies, X equals 2. Rude. Why X equals 2 though? That's weird. I guess maybe just holding up additional energy. Yeah. Not much I can do about that. Draw. Forest. Pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Narset. So now they can Days Undoing. That leaves them with nothing. That would be... I'm not sure that'd be right. I think if they play Days, it gives me an opening for Ugin. I think they see that too. I have the Consign, so I can't cast Ugin. Draw. Flesh Rake. Cast Flesh Raker. Ugin's Lab. No imprint. And pass. And hold. I mean, they're in this strange position where they want to cast this Days Undoing, but maybe not. Narset goes digging. If they find the Gyerich, I'm dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we might need to hold back cards. There's Discharge for Flesh Rake. Yep. Still 2 unknowns. Again, no reason to play the Ugin right now. We're kind of just holding. Kahira to hand. And draw. I mean, yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's at least get a Consign out of a hand. There's no reason that this resolves. Because keeping that in hand doesn't make much sense right now. We'll pass. And pass. Cleansing Wildfire. Did not see that coming, I'll be real. Alright. Was unexpected. Narset goes digging, finds Big Tef. Plays Big Tef. Big Tef plus, so that way they have mana for Consign. Draw. Boseiju. Hold Boseiju. I'll make them work for it. Big Tef plus. Kahira. Bit worried about Gierich, so I'll hold Besiju. Draw. Attempt to resolve Springleaf. Resolves. We'll pass. And hold Besiju in case they animate the Celestial Colonnade. Brain Surge. I mean, they're just sitting on this Days Undoing menacingly. Hate it. Interesting. What are you playing here? Blue. Wrath for 1. Resolves. Take the 3. Down 16. Tough. Yeah, I do need like a Devourer or something. Ask and you shall receive. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Target tough. Consign the trigger. Yep. So that's consign out. All we know now is they have the Days Undoing. Do we play the Besiju? Probably not. We'll just hold. Fetch. Down the 9. Surveil. Paying cost for Brain Surge. Only 16 cards left in deck. That'll be 18, right? And they put it back. And they have 21 cards in Yard that I'm sure that they'll love to have back in their deck. Terminus. Yep, tis a Terminus. Big tough. Again, I need a Devourer of Destiny. Narset. Narset goes digging. Jace. Jace resolves. Look at the top card of my library, see if you want to keep it there. Declines to use it. Rough. I'd rather I see him use it than they don't know what's after that. Draw. An Ugin Lab. I'll play the Ugin Lab. No imprint. And pass. I guess maybe I should have held it, though the Days Undoing it plus Jace kind of wreck me. Yep, that's big tough. Draw 3 triggers. The game is over. Well, they haven't presented lethal. I'm gonna Besiju you. Then pass him full. At this point, we're pretty much dead. And draw. And it's a blade. Pass. Solitude. Alright. And pass. There's Jace. Exile 3. I mean, they're showing lethal now through Solitude. Not to mention Jace will just get to that point. Okay, so I have to get each lock. So no matter what, I can't play any more cards. Both because I have no lands, but also the get each and Narset. Oh, I guess I should have played that. I mean, it would have just been exiled anyways. Moot point. Go to plus, look at my hand, or look at my top deck, and pass, Exiles the blade, swings for 6, down to 1, and pass. One more time. Alright. Well, that went downhill fast, I'll tell you what. Things are looking alright, and then not so much. Alright, let's go back to sideboard. I will cut Gemstone, I think bring back a Flesh Rake, run it back like that. Wonder if maybe Sire is better for the matchup, just because it is uncounterable with Cavern, where Ugin, if it hits board, it's just very hard for them to deal with. Like, basically they have either creature beats or discharge, but that's about it. Unfortunate about the defense grid off turn 1. If that had resolved, he would have been in a much better position by far. I do still wonder about Thief in this matchup, if it's worth it. Maybe. Question's what we cut. That's one of the hard parts. Not the lab build. You need at least 9 7-mana value spells to really sustain the ability for turn 1 lab, right? And so it's hard to justify cutting much for it. Yeah, because right now both lab and halfling have really good numbers. The problem is, like, there are 6 slots in the halfling build that just are doing horrible. Agatha Soul Cauldron and Malevolent Rumble. And since Traverse kind of pairs hand in hand with Rumble, there are just 6 slots that are open that I'm not sure what to fill with. Like, maybe we just stick with the halfling plan and then fill it with some more mid-range threats. Maybe go Gruul, run TKS and Chrysalis. Could be an idea. Chrysalis being played on turn 3. Then you have 2 slots, let's say Saga targets. Maybe Haywire Might. Maybe, I don't know, Soul Guide Lantern. Run those 2 main. Soul Guide for graveyard decks. Haywire Might for artifact decks, Saga, Pithy Needle, stuff like that, main in game 1 and game 2. And then Trim where necessary, game 2, 3. It's a thought. It is a thought. So yeah, there's a few things, but more or less, like, the deck has, I'd say, between 6 to 10 flex slots. If you're not running halfling, then you have 10. Otherwise, you have roughly 6. Because everything else is doing great. It's just that Rumble and Soul Cauldron doing god-awful. Alright, on the play for game 3. Let's take a look. I need to reveal Kahira. I mean, yeah, we keep this. Turn 1, E-Temp, pass. We're looking for a green source and a blade, of course, but, I mean, Flesh Rake, and the Flesh Rake is solid. Draw. Ancient Stirrings, again, would love a green source. Pass. Do you have a consign? No consign. Instead, do you have a galvanic discharge? And step. Touch. Thorning Falls, no. Huh. No consign, no discharge. Hellbound Shock. Discharge. Interesting. Okay. Draw. Null Drifter. In that case... Galarian Flash Rake. Consign. Ugin Lab. Tuck Drift. Cast Ballista X1. Just to get some pressure on board. It's not much, but it's something. I'd love a green source off top. That is what I'd love right now. Defense grid. Go to combat. They have Cleansing Wildfire. Oh, okay. Well, I realized that as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, I should tap the 2 temples instead and not the lab because of Cleansing Wildfire. And then that happened. But Defense Grid resolves, which is good. I guess a Wrath Disguise would be a problem, though, for X equals 2. That would kind of suck. It's interesting to see Jeskai energy back. Was not expecting it. Steam Vent Shock. Show me the Wrath. Yeah. And Bingy for 1. Pass. I mean, shields are down, which is good. Draw. Oof. Pass. That is one other thing I don't like as much about the lab version. I'm running 9 green sources instead of 11. Now, that might not seem like a huge difference, but I mean, it's not insignificant percent-wise, especially because if that lab was a green source, which it would otherwise be, then we'd be able to cast the Stirrings, cast the Broodscale, right? Apply a bit more pressure. Draw. Yikes. 2, 4, 5. I'm going to hold the lab and then return Null Drifter to hand on end step. Scouting turn fetch. Down to 12. Meticulous Archive. 6 cards in hand. All the Storm Giants. First time seeing that this entire time. You want Cleansing Wildfire one of my lands? That'd be awesome, actually. Genuinely. Would be great. Narset. Oh, not thrilled about that. Days Undoing? Yeah. I mean, all this was not castable as is. Broodscale. Draw. E-Temp, of course. I mean, I guess I couldn't return the Null Drifter because it just ends the turn on resolution. Play E-Temp. Hold. And they have to have Consign in hand. There's no way they don't. It's looking like GG's. Cleansing Wildfire. Gonna make you sweat. Float. Yes. Forced. Henge and 2, 4, 5, 6. End step. Draw. Flesh Raker. Broodscale? Bit worried that they have a Terminus now. Also, Null Drifter kind of sucks because Narset doesn't allow me draw. No, let me draw. Monumental Henge. Brain Surge. Gotta put a Terminus on top. So we're gonna get by Terminus. Null Drifter's not doing much. Opponent's down to 10. No Terminus, shocking, actually. Wrath of Skies, X equals 3? Yep, you got it. Not much to say about that. 2, 4, 5, 6. Land or hold? 'Tis the question. I am going to hold. Draw. Saga. Trigger. Pass. On end step, we'll return Null Drifter to hand. Another Wrath of Skies. Rude. Saga down. 8 cards in hand. Jace. Looks at my top. Declines to use. I'm inclined to believe that means it's a land. Return to hand. And draw. Yeah, that's funny. That's generally funny. It's like, well, I feel like they would have left a land on top. Because with castable, they want to keep it there, right? Nope. It's a Devourer, which means they have a Consign in hand. Guaranteed. Yeah, this is looking pretty grim. Second main phase. Here to hand, draw, stirrings, counterspell. No. In that case, E-Temp. E-Temp. Cast Devourer of Destiny. Go after Jace the Mind Sculptor. Consign a memory. Which means, is this 9 or 11? Oh, it's 12, okay. So I still have a little bit of time. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think I do done lose. Draw. Does that do anything for me? Probably not. I'm trying to think. Does it? Not really. Draws 2. But I don't, because Narset. Counterspell? Consign. I feel like a counterspell would have been better served there, but maybe they just don't have one in hand. Alright, I'm gonna need a Devourer. Yeah, why even do that? You could have just Solituded my... That seems weird, right? They could have Solitude it instead if they're gonna play it. I can sign it then. Strange. Jace is at 11. Oh, a Days Undoing in hand? Kahira. Attack. Yeah, we're looking like we're dead. 3, 4, 5. Ugin can't be cast. I mean, we can attempt Decay Command on their turn. Another Solitude. K Command. There's no way this resolves. Done. Does it resolve? Holy hell, it resolves. Bottom. 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 Let's see. Top. Top. Top and not draw. I guess we do draw because it's their turn. Right. Okay. Interesting. Chase. So he's clearing Flesh Rake. Declines to use the ability. Scouting turn. 8, 11. Take. 5. Discharge. Should have held. Discharge. Days Undoing. Yes. I draw nothing because K command. Draw. Devourer of Destiny. Target Chase. Do you have Consign? And Concede. Alright. Well, it is what it is. With that said, we will be back for match number 2. Alright, we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. You have 8 soul lands off the top. Not bad. Yeah, I'll keep this and pass. Go Yavimaya, and then Saga, draw, Blade. Attempt to resolve Blade. Pass. Resolves. Go to Delta Fetch. Undercity Sewers. Okay. And pass. Island. Frog. Hit the frog. Draw. Another blade. Oh, that doesn't help things. Ballista. And pass. And hold. On the off chance that they push it or Orcish Bowmaster. Be a bit surprised to see Bowmaster, to be fair. Do I want to give them the card? Probably not. It's not great, though. Ping you for 1. Draw. Okay, there's Cavernous Souls. We do like Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. Tis a Flash Rake. We pass. No counter spells for you, but we're not blocking now. If Flesh Rake does stick, Bowmaster, so they do have Bowmaster. Interesting. It's not a card commonly seen anymore, but good to know. Ooh, Grixis? Okay. Why the red splash? Huh. Ragavan? Bolt, Unholy Heat, all the above. I'll take the 1. I mean, worst comes to worst, we don't draw into a land, we're gonna grab. Okay, so we'll float. I think even if we do, we just grab Springleaf here. Yavimaya. TKS. Always yield. Always yield. Blue. Blue. I feel like they have a counterspell. TKS Flesh Rake. TKS. Consign? On what? Oh, Flame of Anor? On TKS? Yes. Trigger. I guess I should have tapped it for Springleaf, admittedly. Fetch Blue to Delta. Steam Vent Shocking. Bolt? Jesus. Again, should have tapped it with Springleaf. Snapcast Counterspell. I'll take the Snapcast. And we'll pass. I mean, I'll Snap Block the Frog. Pitch. 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 Just leave the Counterspell in hand. Float the Frog. Take 6 down to 12. Draw. Ugin Lab. Ugin Lab Imprint. TKS number 2. Yeah, his Frog's an issue though. Take the Counterspell. Cast the Blade. And I suppose we will pass. And pass. We could always play the Null Drifter, but not sure that's great. Neil Spellbomb. Activate, target me, draw a card. Float. That's 5 damage. Yep, we'll take. Another Frog. I'm in danger. Lethal's on board, right? No? Yes. Yes, it is. E-Temp. Return Null Drifter to hand. I mean, it's a desperate move, but we kind of need to because this is 6. They'll draw into 7, float, float, because they'll pitch 1 to 5, sack this to 6. So I think we have to evoke. But what do we even find? I suppose we would find K command to exile a frog. Yes. Bowmaster. 1, 2. Yes. Triggers. Resolve. Triggers. Again, probably should have floated some mana to Springleaf. The problem is now we only have 4 mana, and we have Ancient Stirrings. Actually, I would need 3 mana plus the spawn. Now, if I go Stirrings now, I'll be short on the Broodscale, right? So Broodscale's out. I guess K Command's still an option. Well, no, not really, because they'll just float the one that's big enough. So K Command's not an option. Do I have any outs? Because Broodscale would be 1, 2. And Equip would be 3. We'd be 1 short. Yeah, we'll concede. I have 0 outs right now. 0 outs at all. Alright. Well, let's run it back. So I'm going to say this is Murktide. Does not look like a traditional Oculus build. We can get the Gemstone. Bring in Defense Grid and Dismember. Cutting Ballista. Flesh Rake. I'd say Ugin. And one other card. I suppose a TKS. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the lab version. Okay. So all we're missing is Blade and a payoff. I mean, yeah, let's just send it. Turn 2, if we need, we just go to Fence Grid if they have something up. Otherwise, if windows open, or their shields are down rather, we can just play the Broodscale. Saga Trigger, pass. And pass. I mean, yeah, this would be a force check. Bowmaster to Yard. Draw. Trigger. Interesting. We could just play the Broodscale. I mean, their shields are down, so it makes sense to do so. At that point, we're just interaction checking. We'll pass. And pass. There's the push. Draw. Trigger, float. Blade of the Blood Chief. Ugin's Lab. Imprint. Sire 7 Deaths. Defense Grid. Do you have a Consign or Spell Snare? Force. We'll send it. Broodscale resolves. We'll pass. And pass. Next time I can equip, I can adapt. But then we don't have much after, at least not as of right now. Blue, blue, Snapcast, Fatal Push. Yep. Alright. And push the Broodscale. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. 2, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'd be short is the only problem. So do I go Devourer or Sire? I'm gonna go Devourer. Any order, E-temp, and hold. We need a temple though is the only problem. They have a Harbinger, we're in trouble. Another thing I don't necessarily like about this version, feels like Moon Effect's much more impactful. Take 2 down to 15. I want that Tameo down. Draw. TKS. Yavamaya. TKS. Scaling Tarn Fetch. TKS ETBs. Frog or Flame? Flame flips the Tameo. We can exile the Frog. We'll eat the Flame. And pass. And hold. I need a land. A land will get me the Frog. Attack with Tameo. Opponent gets a clue. And one unknown in hand. Draw. K command. Scry draw exile. Attempt to exile the Frog. Basically, we're seeing if they have a counter spell, because right now if they have a force, they can't cast it. Draws a card. Could be a force in hand. Are looking for a force. It resolves. Ballista and Saga. Top, and draw. Frog is down. Play the Saga trigger. Equip Blade of the Blood Chief. I mean, attacking for 4 here seems fine. Go to combat. Down to 12. Yeah, if you want to race to the bottom right now, we're winning that race. Trigger. 3 cards in hand. Draw a card. 4 cards in hand. Feeder, Surveil. Bolt Yard. Okay. And draw. Ballista. Go to combat. Down to 8. Cast Devourer of Destiny. I'm not too worried about Harbinger right now. I will exile Tameo. I feel like Tameo is the bigger threat here between these 2 cards. Is it a consign? Counterspell. That's fine. We'll pass. Spell bomb. Draw a card. 3 in hand. Again, Blade A. Harbinger is not a good idea. Cameo. Land. 1 in hand. Attack. Down to 11. That's fine. Draw. Trigger. Make a construct. Get a blade. Play Cavern of Souls. Name construct. Instead, I guess I'll do it like this. And done. Equip to Ballista. And equip the Ballista. Go to combat. Down to 4. Fetch down to 3. A theoretical 2. Surveil. Biggest thing is now that I can just attack with the construct and the TKS, and if they were to block and one of my creatures were to die, Ballista just wins the game. In that case, ping, Snapcast. Triggers. Passing full. Snapcast down. Lethal is on board. 1 card in hand. Attack. Draws the clue. 2 in hand. Do you concede? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opponent concedes. Okay. We got there. So this might actually be Grixis control, not Merc. So control. Bring Gemstone back in. Cut another TKS, I suppose. Yeah. I suppose. TKS is good, but it does need to resolve. Huh. I mean, yeah, we'll keep. We're looking at turn 1 defense grid. Keep. It goes down to 6. I mean, what am I looking for here? Another Fleshwreck, I suppose. Green source, maybe. Pass. Blue to Delta. Holding triggers. Trigger number 1. Cavern of Souls is a good idea. K Command's also really solid. Dismember is decent. We'll go K Command. Trigger number 2. There's Broodscale, but we're missing a green source. I think I keep the K Command. Otherwise, could go for a Yavimaya. We'll go K Command. Ugin Lab. Imprint. Defense grid. Pass. Blue to Delta. Spell Snare Consign. Steam Vent Shock. And we'll eat a consign. Yeah, that's fine. 5 in hand, you play a frog. Looking like you do. You do not. Draw. Dismember. I'm thinking E-temp. Yeah, we'll go E-temp and hold. Hold the K command. Bowmaster resolves, that's fine. Guess we could have force checked there. Steam Vent Shock. Attacking. Down to 17. End step. Ramp. And exile the Bowmast. Done. Another consign, that's fine. Ancient Stirring, Saga Trainer. Clarion Flash Rake, does it resolve? It does. We'll hold up the Dismember. Bolt. Bolt. Okay. Hold up Dismember. We can start making constructs next turn. Take 2 down to 15. 2 cards in hand. Draw. Could Ballista X1, but I think we just go with constructs instead. Yeah. Let's hold. And draw. Tease a swamp. 2 cards. And if they attack, we have no reason to block the construct. Take 1, down to 14. And step, make construct. Kind of on the mid-range plan at this point. I will make a construct. Spring Leaf Drum. E-temp. Ballista. Blue, black, Snapcast, Consign, or Bolt. Bolt, target a construct. Yeah, I mean, that resolves. Bolting a construct. Should have floated our Ancient Starrings. There's Glaring Flesh Rake. There is TKS. And I think at this point, TKS seems like a good option. Go TKS. And hold. And we have another Devourer in hand. They know that too. Black. Push. Resolve. Combat. Take 4 down to 10. Yeah, that resolves. Or that goes through. Draw. Attempt to resolve TKS. counterspell. Guess we should have resolved the defense grid first, or attempted to. Yeah. Did that backwards. Defense grid. Pass. Yeah, did that 1000% backwards. Should have went defense grid and they wouldn't have had enough. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. I will take. And draw. Devourer of Destiny. Devour Bowmast. And pass. On one hand, like, I guess having the TCAS down on board would have been nice. On the other hand, and the defense grid down now is really good. Draw. Forest. Devour of Destiny. Target Snapcast. Combat. Hold up Dismember on the off chance that it's relevant. And pass. Next turn we have Lethal. 2 in hand. 2, 4, 5, 6. 1 land to get me Devourer. And Bone scoops it up. Alright, we'll take the 1. Well, we will be back for match number 3. Alright, we're back for match 3 on the draw for game 1. We're going to keep it. If we find lands, we're in a good spot. Otherwise, we can always go Stirrings to go digging. Misty Rain. Draw. Saga. So in that case, I'm thinking we go Yavimaya, Blade. Pass. Misty Rain fetch for Breeding Pool Shock. Shocking. Nature's Claim? Generous End. Living End. Alright, pass. We'll play the Forest. So playing the Basking Broodscale is probably not. Oh, never mind. It's Neoform. Or Neobrand. Lost for game 1. I cry every time. It is Grizzlebrand. Oh, jeez, a Grizzlebrand. Hey, do I lose? Is the question, right? Is this Sorin version? No? I mean, if they have no interaction, let's go Saga, Broodscale, Pass and Pray. Draw. Ballista. You have all the Ballista. Saga trigger. Broodscale and Pray. I need a land. Draw 7, down to 3. Do it. Pact negation the Broodscale. Like, you won't, coward. Pass. So we take 11. Probably 12. We're not dead. You can't draw any more cards until after you attack. We're not blocking, no matter what. What I need right now is a land. know. I wonder if there's a world where playing the Saga on one would have been good. That way could have gone for a Springleaf. Maybe. That actually may have been a missed opportunity on my part. Eldritch Evolution. Trigger. Gulta. Xenagos. Oh. That's only 16. That's fine. Alright. Sure. I'll go down to 3. I'm not dead yet. I just need a land. Yeah, I think maybe going to Springleaf would have been right. Actually, no, I don't even need a land. What am I talking about? I have 3 ballistas in hand. I just need to equip the blade. Okay. Draw all your cards. You need many pact negations. We somehow win this through Xenagos. Okay. I don't care about your riders. Wild. Bone's going to pitch. Alright. Draw. Trigger. Okay. Force of Vigor out of nowhere? That would be big sad. Alright. Equip. Ballista for 0. Pact. Ballista for 0. Draw 7. How many packs you play? 3? One's thinking hard. I mean, if they had the pact, you just play pact, right? Trigger. Always yield. Always yes. Always yield. All right. Are you conceding? Nope, not yet. Flash Rake. Somehow we win? They would need 2 packs. Because we have Ballista. But opponent concedes. I genuinely marked that as a loss in my my data sheet. I was like, huh, I'm dead. What am I supposed to do about this, right? Bring in the cage? Cut what? Ugin? I mean, Neo4 makes Grizzlebrand an 8/8. I guess cut Ugin. Yeah. Maybe cut Sire, Drifter. Maybe Drifter. It's a divination. We'll cut Sire. Screw it. Alright, let's run it back. What a weird game that was. Yeah, I wonder if they would have had it if they just attacked him with Grizzlebrand and didn't Eldritch Evolution. I mean, we have the possibility for a turn 2 T Chaos if we find another Templar 7-mana value spell. Blade of the Blood Chief would also be able to happen on turn... Oof, what, 3? Which might be too slow, but a turn 2 TKS might get there. Well, maybe not. If they turn to us, then we're just dead regardless. Alright, we'll pass. Land tapped. Trigger. I mean, there's a green source. How many basics do they run? Oh, I feel like they only run like 1 or 2 basics. I think if I Besage you that though, they have a replacement. I think I pitch all. Actually, no, we take Devour. Yeah, we take Devour. And then we pray. We pray that we don't lose on 2, so then we can TKS on 2. We pass. And pass. Forest. Okay. Draw. Ugin Lab. Devourer. TKS. ETB. Take a peek. So, Eldritch Evolution, Mandrill, Xenagos, Gulta. I mean, we take the evolution. Alright, and we pass. And we pass. I think we K command X equals 3 next turn. Trying to find a blade. Blade and a payoff, I suppose. Yeah. Otherwise, just kind of TKS beats. I guess there's another option of where we go Broodscale first. Actually, I think I like that we go Broodscale first, because then if you find the blade, go Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi, green, colorless, Basking Broodscale, combat. Because this way, if we find the blade, we win next turn with a infinitely big Broodscale. We hold. They're short on mana. Good for us. Draw. Ugin. Yavimaya. K command, and we go full in. And done. There's the blade. Bottom Saga. Bottom Saga. Bottom Beseiju. Top blade. Cast blade. Equip blade. Always yield. Nature's Claim. Rude. Combat. Down to 10. Maybe I should have adapted Broodscale first. Because they'd be down to 9. No, we still wouldn't have it. Yeah. Draw. I mean, yeah, that will help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Trigger, no targets. Don't worry, opponent. That's not the worst of it. Alright, they concede. Alright, we'll take it. TKS coming in clutch. I do like me my TKS. And also Devour did a lot of good work there too, to be fair. Alright, we'll be back for match 4. Alright, and we're back for match 4 on the draw. Yeah, this is looking good. We'll keep Gemstone. The question is, what do we pitch of Gemstone? So, hear me out for a second. If I play Gemstone and we go... See, there's a few thoughts here. If we pitch Ugin, then we have Stirrings. I can play Basking Broodscale on one, equip it on two, and then go Infinite. Yeah, I think I pitched the Stirrings. We'll pass. Draw. I played a Delta up, so I'm going to actually play the Blade. Pass. Hedge Maze. Hedge Maze. Sink. Pass. Okay. Misty. Fetch. Snow Covered. Oh, son of a... Is it? Okay, Birthing Ritual. That's fine. So in that case, Broodscale. Equip. Ballista for 0, so we don't win this turn. Always yield. But opponent doesn't care, they just concede. And we're going to Ugin, exile Birthing Writ, draw cards so we can find the payoff. Alright, we got there. I'm pretty sure this is Neobrand. I'm almost 100% certain this is Neobrand again. Alright, so we'll bring in Grafdiggers, cut Sire, and run it back. I want to say this is quote-unquote fair Neobrand, given that it's using the Birthing Ritual. Alright, there's Flesh Rake, there's Devourer to dig. If we're assuming that this is Neobrand, we either need to see the Glaring Flesh Rake, not the Glaring Flesh Rake, the Grafdigger's Cage, or the combo. We don't have access to the combo in hand, so I think we mulligan. I mean, we have the Blade, we're just missing the Broodscale. We could. Opponent keeps. I'll keep, pitch a Blade, keep the Ballistas, and we'll pass. We have 5 hits out the top, roughly. Oh, Abhorrent Oculus. Oh, interesting. Yavimaya. Force check. So this is that version. Okay, we're grabbing Broodscale. Any order, and pass. So this is the Neo form Oculus version thing. Coiling Oracle. What? Draw. Fascinating. Force check. E-temp. E-temp. Blade. No force. Okay. Pass. Attack. Oof. Yeah, I mean, that's the sound I make when I see the card. What are my outs then for that? Name Eldrazi. Flesh Rake. Pass. Fetch. Do you have Fatal Push? No. Hedge Maze. Pass. Ooh, the Delta Fetch. Birthing Writ? Birthing Writ. No attacks. Birthing Writ. Sacrifice the Coiling Oracle for an abhorrent Oculus. Yep. Draw. So basically we need to get to Devourer. Flesh Rake. Always yield. Consign, because I really want the Broodscale to resolve. We could get the Flesh Rake to resolve, awesome, but... Oh, they consign both, so I can't cast it. Unless I Ballista for 0. Like, we could Ballista for 0. In fact, I could do it twice. Is there a reason to do so right now, though? We could do it next turn as another option. Pass. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Consign. I guess I should have made that uncounterable. Yeah, because then the Ballistas would have been Rituals. 5 down to 12. Again, I desperately need to cast this Devourer. Birthing Writ. At any point they sack the oof, I win. Birthing Writ. No, and no. Okay, 2 in hand, Oculus trigger. If you find a land, we can just ritual into the Devourer. Okay. That's 5. Trigger 6. Always yield. Always yield. I want that oof off the board. Doesn't mean I do need to... I guess no, the Flesh Rake is the payoff. So, Ballista, trigger. One, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give me that oof. Pass. Consign. Yeah, second consign is gonna be rough. No. Resolves. Interesting. No attacks. We'll pass. Ice Fang, that's fine. We'll pass. And hold. Take 6 down to 6. Okay. Birthing Writ. Play trigger. Ice Fang, draw a card. Birthing Writ. Trigger. Harbinger. So now I need to draw into a forest specifically. Draw. Brutal. Draw. You can play the Flesh Rake. Triggers. Stern Scolding. I can block. I can block. I can block. Or sorry, no, I can block, block, block. So yeah, we're not dead yet. Equip. to the Flesh Rake, and we'll pass. We'll be at 1 though. Blue, blue, green. Brazen Bar, that's lethal. I will pass. And concede. Alright. Yeah, should have made the second Flesh Rake uncounterable. I was thinking, like, well, we get the second Flesh Rake, and then we play the Broodscale. Make that uncounterable. Okay, so not what I thought it was. We still want the Graph Diggers. Though, I'm not certain they run Unearth. So maybe Defense Grid instead? Wastegate Battle Mage doesn't feel bad either, given Birthing Writ. Oh, this is interesting. It's like we can't, I guess we could cut TKS in full for Wastegate. Defense Grid. Dump the Caverns. Okay, let's run it like this then. I actually might want to bring in the second Sire over the Ugin in retrospect, but I think it's too late. Yeah. On the play for game 3. Yeah, we'll keep. Just need a payoff. We can find a payoff, we can win on turn 3. Where we're at right now. Ugin Lab. Trigger. Springleaf. Pass. Pass. Edge Maze. Surveil. Keeps it on top. And draw. Beseiju. Broodscale. Pass. Subtlety. Rude. Top. Pass. Breeding Pool Shock. It's an oof. That is an oof. Draw. Blade. Broodscale. E-Temp. Pass. And pass. So now we need to deal with the oof. K command, dismember. Draw. Flesh Rake. Yavimaya. Combat. No blocks. Adapt. Fetch. Edge Maze tapped. I do that now. Ah, Ice Fang. Draw a card. Yeah, I guess I should have played around the Ice Fang. Always yield. Always yes. Always yield. Oh, but they had already said they weren't blocking, so never mind. Flesh Rake. Pass. And pass. Green, green, and Rit. Use the rain, 13. 2. Attack of Ice Fang, take 1, down to 19. Birthing Rit, sacrifice Ice Fang. Trigger. Ice Fang, trigger, draw. 3 in hand, draw. Sire 7 deaths. Basking Broodscale, trigger. I could adapt and drain them. That is a thought. Otherwise, we can hold up a Seiji for the Birthing Writ. I will adapt. Always yes. Go to combat. Say they want to block the Ice Fang. They do not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Attack. Down to 17. Yeah, because they want food for the ritual, basically. Well, they have to be careful now. We're primed to just win. Blade. Oracle. Yeah, that's less threatening than Ice Fang. Draw. Yavimaya. Sire 7 deaths. Alright. Down to 5 if that resolves. The thing is that resolves as pseudo hexproof. Flare. You now have to block. Ooh. Yeah, you're now forced to block. Unless do you have something to flash? Endurance. Yeah, that'll do it. Put you down to 3 though. Shuffle my yard? Okay, that's kind of fine. I guess they're playing around Emrakul, theoretically. Yes. Down to 3. Trigger. Passing. And hold. Three in hand. You can't attack, I can't imagine. Really? We'll take it. No reason not to. And suggest you have another blocker. Misty Rain down to 2 is dangerous. Birthing Writ. Triggers Blade. Oculus. Sure. Trigger. Draw. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play Beseiju. Target Collector Oof. Do you have a consign? Force. That's not enough. Because if the Glaring Flesh Rake triggers go off, you lose. Sink. Oh, look at you being sneaky. Alright. Pass. And I have to deal with Devourer. Another Birthing Root. Can you attack with the Abhorrent Oculus in good faith? That's the question. Paying cost to flip, Brazen Borrow, attack for... Okay, only 3. Birthing Root. You need 2 blockers. No matter what. Another Oculus, okay. So now you're gonna have your 2 blockers, I'm at 11. If I draw into another colorless spell, you lose. Maybe I should have went for the Oculus? Draw. Unfortunately, we're still 1 short. Defense grid. Triggers. I could threaten to attack. You'd have to block and block, most likely. I guess you could eat the Broodscale. It's probably right to attack with the Devourer, though. Yeah, I mean, we can block the manifest creatures. So we'll pass. Block. It was Stern Scolding. We pass. If it's an Ice Fang Quaddle, then you win. Combat. Down to 1. Birthing Writ, number 1. Paying cost. Sink the Flesh Rake. Interesting. I mean, again, we're kind of in the same position of if we just draw into a color spell, we win. Sack an Oculus. That's fine. Oculus trigger. Draw. Start off with Stirrings. Null Drifter works. Yep, Null Drifter will do the job. Any order. Flash Rake 1, 2, 3. Drifter. 1, 2, 3. And we got there. Whew. That was a close one, I'll tell you what. Solid games, though. That was a fun back and forth. I liked it. And they revealed another Harbinger and snow-covered. Okay. Alright. Well, that was, I guess, like... I'll name it as Oculus. It was Simic Oculus instead of the normal Demir. But we'll still classify as Oculus. With that said, we'll be back for match 5. Alright, we're back for match 5 on the play for game 1. There's Flesh Rake, Ballista. Yeah, we can keep. Draw. Do you want to go Ballista on 1 or Ancient Stirrings? I want to say Ancient Stirrings. Fire off Ancient Stirrings. It's harder to find a Broodscale than it is to find the Blade, so let's grab the Broodscale. And Blade's on bottom. We'll pass. And pass. Sacred Foundry Shock, looks like Energy, Ragavan. If that's the case, I'm thinking Ballista instead of Flesh Rake. Saga Trigger. Ballista. And pass. No monkey business. It ain't allowed. Go to combat. Let's not belabor the point. Ragavan down. A Johnny trigger. Draw. Trigger. Oh. Interesting. We can cast, we can equip, but not do anything after. So, in that case, I mean, there's no reason not to play the blade, right? Imprint. Do we even want to play the Flesh Raker? I mean, I guess we could play the Flesh Raker and Blade. Yeah, let's go Flesh Raker. Blade, trigger, always yield. Always yield. So now they need a lot to stop what I have going on. And hold in case of a discharge. Do you have interaction is the question. So we're definitely not blocking the cat. Six cards in hand. You can stop the Flesh Rake. We can get a Spring Leaf, tap the spawn, equip, then sack, and that would allow me to then Ugin, get Ugin on board, draw a card, potentially find another threat. Okay. Static Prison Blade doesn't work either. So your only option really would to be hold a Galvanic Discharge specifically for the Broodscale. But you do know I have in hand. You do know I have the Ugin, or the Broodscale rather. You also know I have Ugin, but that's another conversation. Excuse me. Opponent's thinking hard here. Either that, or they're hardly thinking. See, at first I wasn't sure about the lab build, and now the lab build feels okay. Attack. Take the 2. Yep. Marsh Flats. Static Prison. The thing is about Static Prison is that I'd be able to Broodscale, Ugin, exile Prison, and then win. You'd still need instant speed removal. Opponent's tinking hard. Slot Pride? That's fine. Discharge? That's the wrong target, unless you have multiple discharges. Trigger. Always yield. Interesting. Why discharge the Flesh Rake? Draw. Trigger. I will float. So we can play Broodscale. I can equip. Sack. We could go Springleaf. Does Springleaf do anything? Cast, play, Springleaf. I mean, if they have a discharge, they have a discharge, right? Cast, equip. So no, I don't really think going... I mean, a second blade isn't a bad idea, so we'll go second blade. Yavamaya. Cast. Equip. Do you have a second discharge? Okay, you do. Sacred Foundry Shock. Galvanic Discharge. Yep, okay. That's what I was afraid of. Triggers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I should have gone for the Springleaf just in case of that outcome. Yeah. I will do this. And pass. Well, explains how they played that. And didn't exactly have much in the way of choice. I guess I could have just made a construct and called it a day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I should have grabbed the Springleaf. Because that would have then allowed me to potentially play Devourer to exile the flip the Johnny if I draw into a land. Which would be relevant right now. Stacks on the trigger. Always yield. So the spawn does grow. It's a 2/3 now. Can't really do much of that though. What would be the best case scenario here? Ballista? Ballista for 1. Equip, sack, ping down. Yeah, that would be pretty good. Alright, let's see a Ballista off top. We have 2. Otherwise, Broodscale. Devour is not it. To be fair, it'd be a halfling otherwise, so I'm not sure if that'd be any better. They simply put counters on a Johnny. Or not a Johnny, on the cats, and I lose, right? Pretty sure? Pretty sure I lose. No attacks. Ugh, things were looking good. Oh, and a freaking Flage to guard? Yeah, well, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we'll concede now. I'll just press concede now. Even out of Johnny, they Flage, Helix, spawn, and then attack in, or they can just a Johnny 0 kill me. Unfortunate. But sometimes they just have the outs. Let's take out the TKS and Gemstone and run it back. Unfortunate. Yeah, because like I said, my only out there I think was going to be a Walking Ballista. Because yeah, we played Ballista for 1, equip, sack spawn, goes up to 3, ping down the board, and for each one it gets 2. So I think they had like, I don't know, at least probably 10 creatures on board. So it would have become a pretty big body, maybe even big enough to kill them, in fact. I do wonder if maybe I should have simply... Like, there's an option where I could have just made a construct, pass, and said, okay, cool. Like, I'm not going to play directly into interaction. But if they don't have it, we just win. Or at least, maybe not win, but close enough. We can Devourer, exile, or rather, Ugin, exile something, Devour, exile something, Ugin, exile something. So it exile 3 cards off board, draw a card, gain 3 life, potentially into a payoff. Otherwise, we have just an infinitely big Broodscale. And since we had 2 blades, we'd have infinite tokens that are infinite, yada yada, right? Yeah. I mean, I think it was still the right play. On the play for game 2. We'll keep... I think we just go Ballista on 1. Ugin Lab, Imprint Sire, cast Ballista, and pass, and hold. All we're looking for is a blade at this point. Sacred Foundry Shock, Static Prison, Ballista, ping you for 1. Pass. Draw. E-temp. In that case, E-temp. And pass. And pass. Static Prison Yard. 7 in hand. Okay, next turn we can Broodscale, we can Ballista, Marshflats Fetch, Ocelot Pride, draw. Well, in that case I just win, right? So we go Broodscale, trigger. And trigger. Blade. Opponent concedes? Or not yet? They have a Flare of Fortitude? No, they can see. Alright. Win for game 2. On to game 3. I want my gemstone back. So we'll cut... Null Drifter is a good divination. Hey, cut Ugin? Could also cut Ballista. Look at an Ugin. Ugin can kind of be hit or miss on how impactful it is in this matchup. Sometimes it's great, sometimes just kind of meh. Sometimes it can be just kind of meh. I mean, opponents are going to have Charmal, maybe Charmal, definitely Wear Tear, maybe Molten Rain, maybe an Orange Chant? Could be an Orange Chant. I'm going to put it past them bringing like 1. Oof. So we're looking for a green source. I mean, I think I keep it. We have 10 green sources for Eldrazi. And we have 9 7-mana value spells for turn 2 Flesh Rake. Or just constructs, right? We just make constructs, get a Springleaf, make green that way. Yeah, Saga 1 Blade. And then see if we can go into Flesh Rake on 2. Draw. There's the forest. So do we just go forest? No, I think we still go Broodscale Saga. So Saga trigger. Blade. Pass. Marshflax fetch. Elegant Parlor. Surveil. We have 2 Thief. Clear and Conqueror would be pretty bad. Did they miss their land drop? No shot. Bloodstrand, okay. A little bit worried about potential interaction. I mean, we could just go Yavimaya and pass, right? Otherwise, we go Broodscale. And then we're just interaction checking at that point. I'll have access to 4 mana. But it would take me 5. Unless we draw into a 7-mana value spell. We could gamble off the 7-mana value spell. That's an option. Otherwise, we just go for the win. I'll just send it. Sometimes you just need to send it. Because if they have, like, interaction like Static Prison instead of Galvanic Discharge, which they have, then we would have been able to eat the Static Prison of the Thief. So, give and take. Next turn we can Flesh Rake. Snow-covered plains. Clarion Conqueror. Yeah, the Conqueror is a bit of an issue, admittedly. Draw. There's the Null Drift. Tap. For... We'll go Springleaf in case we're ever able to do that. I'm gonna say Yavimaya. Flesh Rake. Pass. Next turn we could evoke, draw 2, ramp. Flage will Helix, the Flesh Rake. And I'm looking at 5 damage down to 14. Sorry, 6 damage down to 13. 2 in hand. Yeah. Wasn't too much we could do here at this point. We're in a bit of trouble, I'd say. Because we need to get rid of the Clarion Conqueror. Draw. Yavimaya. Problem is they're going to fetch Surveil, put 1 into Yard. So I'm looking at least 3, 6, 9. 9 down to 3. I mean, I'll try. Not much else to do. Draw 2. Temp Saga. I'll pass. None of that is enough. I'm thinking we lose. If they have an Arena Glory, they win. If they have a Bolt, they win. Is there a world or we win? I'm trying to think what my out would be. Since we're going to be at 3, Sire 7, that's wouldn't cut it. Not to mention we wouldn't be able to even cast it. We could K command. Exile the Clarion Conqueror. But that would be my entire amount of mana. So I'd just be tapped out if nothing but spawns. Which means Flage kills me. Draw. Concede. Yeah, the Clarion Conqueror, as well as interaction, got me there. Unfortunate. Unfortunate indeed. Yeah, I think it was right to just go for it. I don't foresee there being any real better option in that moment at the very least. Regardless, 3-2 at the end of 5. Again, not bad. Pretty consistent in that regard. What are my thoughts on Ugin Lab? Is it better than Halfling? There are definitely times where I felt the lack of green sources, right? So there's that. I mean, at the same time, like having Devourer of Destiny, having Sire 7 Deaths, having Null Drifter, definitely was not bad, it was good, right? There's that thought as well. Because the other thought was with the Halfling version was to still run TKS because TKS is doing great. We could run Chrysalis in addition to TKS in a Gruul version, right? That's an option. Or use Grove of the Burn Willows instead of Yavimaya. Do the normal Stomping Ground, fetches, yada yada, right? Because we could still do turn 2 TKS off of Forest Halfling into Temple TKS, and then turn 3 Chrysalis. There's also there's a world where we do turn 2 Chrysalis off of Halfling Temple as well. I guess both of them do require Halfling Temple, though TKS can go Temple. So TKS has more castability on turn 2, but Chrysalis could also turn 2 in that version. The biggest thing is that Agatha Soul Cauldron and Malevolent Rumble were doing very poorly. So cutting those at least gives us 6 slots in the Halfling version, right? Huh. And if we were to do that and go Chrysalis, I mean, we're a bit lower to the ground. We're not stuck with 7-minute value spells in our hand as much. Devour is nice, though, just because it does give us that pre-game action when it's in our hand. The only thing is, like, it does create this deck building restriction where you have to run 4. Because you want to see it in your opening hand as much as possible, but in order to guarantee that 33% of the time, not really guarantee, but to make sure it happens as much as possible, which is 33%, then you would run 4 Devourers. And then it's like a 39% that there's 1 or more, but 33% that you have at least 1. And really we only want to see 1. There's also a world where I guess we just run like Devour, Earn a non-lab version. Maybe? I don't know. It just sometimes like it feels a bit rough to try and cast 7-minute value spells without lab. Because I think the earliest would be turn 3 for Devourer. But it specifically require Halfling on 1 into either Chrysalis 2 or K Command 2 for X equals 2. And then land into Devour on 3, which is not bad. Otherwise, we're looking at a potential turn 4 is probably more realistic. Turn 5 for Devourer. I guess that's an idea. We could run Devourer, 4 Devourers, 4 TKS, and 2 Chrysalis. Maybe. That's a thought. That would fill the full 6. The one downside of Devourer in the Halfling build is that if Halfling's the only colored permanent on board, the Devourer just eats it, right? So that kind of feels bad. I mean, we know that pain all too well in Eldrazi ramp as well. Stuff to think about. Stuff to think about. But I think I'm going to start building out a deck guide and primer for Broodscale, and to update my E-Ramp one as well. I'd already started a Broodscale one, kind of at least the formatting of it. But I think now that I understand the deck a bit more, the different lines, the different options as far as the deck is concerned, I'll start building that out a bit more, and at least go into like the sequencing, the ideal lines, etc., right? So I think that would be good, at least as a start. Still not sure about like a sideboard guide because I feel like the deck, it's not there just yet. Like I feel like 6 flex slots just is a lot, and I want to like solidify those slots before we start looking at a sideboard guide. But a lot more things to test, a lot more things to consider. Overall, the deck still feels great. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think there's a lot of room for experimentation. And it'll just take some time to find the right combination of cards to really push it over the edge, the same way that we did for E-Ramp. I do want to get back to E-Ramp at some point soon, though, and test Airghast a little bit more. Maybe refine that build, because it does really play a little bit differently than traditional E-Ramp, since you are trying to like turbo out Emrakul. And there's definitely some combination of cards to get that right. And I'm not sure if like it's been experimented with enough to really nail down what that exact combination of cards is. So how to figure that out as well. Regardless though, that there will be the end of today's video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much as I hope that you all learn from me and both my success and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached this point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button, as we're getting closer and closer to the next goal of 1,000 subscribers. At which point, I'll be able to start monetizing these videos, allowing me to start saving up towards a stream PC so I can stream live over on Twitch. In the meantime though, if you do want to support me monetarily, you can do so over my Patreon, where you can get early access to my YouTube videos, as well as any updates I make to my deck guides. With that being said, I will see y'all next time. Bye bye!